What's up, everyone? Another chart review today. Two trades for me today, very early, just after the open. Quite a wild day in terms of ATR, at least in the morning when I was trading. Big bars, understandable given the events of the weekend. But yeah, I took two early trades and then decided to call it a day for the most part. So I came in around this time here, and during the overnight session, we'd had this big gap down, um, had further pressure to the downside to about 67, 69, but then we started to reverse. When I came in the morning, it was flatlining a little, but I was expecting maybe a measured move at least, or to fill the gap. I didn't see anything I liked in the pre-market. I did mark this one as a potential trade if you draw some support along here. Potential trade, but really right into the EMA and right at the open. So I wasn't looking to trade. I don't like to take trades around the open, but might be one that Mac marks. After the open, we did have this channel up. I initially drew this narrower trend, but as we continued up, I did consider a wider one. One of the difficulties with the PATS strategy is knowing when to widen. I widened initially to this, but you could argue it goes here. You could argue it goes here, and it was still in play at that point. But I tried to play it more conservatively. I've taken a few losses where I've drawn a wider trend when it's not one. So just on the safe side, I kept it like this. However, we have this downtrend break new low. Not as wide as I'd like the two legs, but I was confident at this point we probably would fill the gap or at least try for this measured move, so I was okay looking to go long. This takes me to my first entry, and the more I look at it, the less I like it. We have a second, well, we would have had a second entry long here, and I was considering it, but it never triggered. So then I started to look for a higher low, and we get one here. But at this time, there are quite a few negatives to this trade, which make it not such a sure thing, as Mac would say. We are going quite sideways here, stacking up green and red bars. And this one doesn't technically... I think a matching low is okay, but I prefer it when it does tick below. And we do have a lot of wick at the top. This probably was my quickest trade ever, even if it wasn't perfect setup. It scalped out in under a second, the scalp, and took out the runner almost immediately. The next trade I'm a little happier about. It came a few minutes later. We have a first entry short, second entry short failure. And I liked how this candle reacted off the EMA. It was coming down and reversed quite strongly. Candle didn't finish green. However, I think it was Mac that said that for failures, the candle is not as important. And on the next bar, it firstly came down and then started to reverse strongly. And that gave me more confidence that we were going higher. So again, got the scalp really quickly, I think in 4 seconds. The runner contract got taken out at 1 or break even plus 1, and it was quite painful to watch, to be quite honest. We came all the way up here. That would have been about 6 points, and then it comes all the way down, ticks out my runner, and then immediately reverses about 10 points in the other direction. So I'm journaling how far the runner contracts go, and I am journaling to see whether a flat 5 or 6 point runner target is best. Because a few times it's went 5 or 6 points and then reversed. but there's a downside that would mean that I wouldn't be able to get those big 20, 30, 40 point runners. So maybe in the future when I can have more than one runner contract, maybe it would be good to have one at 5 points and another one just goes as far as it can. A bit painful in the runner contract, but 2 scalps for the day very quickly within 15 minutes of the open, so I was happy with that. But again, just need to watch my choice of setups. Really need to focus on those A+ setups, and these were both quite risky. Second one, not as risky as the first, but the first one, again, it's my Achilles heel, is taking these type of trades in congestion. Now I draw this, it's very clearly congestion, but yeah, we got away with it, and another lesson. After that, I was mainly journaling, but I saw this type of price action, and eventually around here, I decided to draw a spike in channel. And I quite like how this fits. There's quite a lot of touches at the bottom, a few touches at the top, and the midline was reacting well. We have a break, new high. At this point, I wasn't trading. Probably at this point, I might have considered the second entry short had I been really confident of this wider downtrend. But it doesn't really give you a setup. It triggers on this bar here, this really big bull bar. Maybe someone more advanced might take the engulfing if they're confident, but this STT might still be in play. And yeah, then you get an inside bar here. It doesn't trigger on this big red bar, so not much to consider there. And then, yeah, we start to reverse again. This uptrend, break new high, 2 legs here. This bar here, I wouldn't have taken it because I have been burned so often by taking a bar that closes on the EMA. But it is a second entry long. I guess the second entry long technically is on this bar. But I've seen Mac like these type of setups, so it will be interesting to see if he marks this one. In any case, we come back up again with another leg up, break new high, and then we reverse down. Don't really see anywhere I would like to get in here. Then I came back to my desk around this time to trade, and I initially had this narrower uptrend here with a break new high. I was considering this wider one, but I didn't really like how it looked. We have a lot of space here, and it doesn't react well here. I have a lot of empty space here. I didn't really like it. I almost considered a trade. So we have a first entry, second entry, and then this candle here, which could be considered like a double trap or a visual second entry long. But my candles were a bit different at the time. I reloaded, but we'd already made the 4-tick scalp, and thankfully I didn't chase it because it would have stopped me out. So seeing as it only went 6 ticks, I don't think it's a good setup. Usually the good setups will go for much higher tick profits. And then I did mark a couple of trades here. It looks like we chopped around a little for eventually making 2 legs up here. So if this was a valid trend, we made 2 legs to a new high. Then we have a strong downtrend here, confirming quite well. And then we get an initial second entry short on this candle. Potential trade here. If I was trading at the time, maybe my only concern is the short-term correction. Possibly someone might draw it like this, a bit wider. I think it looks good here, so technically it does have a small break, new high. And then we get the lower high here, which works very well. My only concern here would maybe be that we've had 3 bars in a row, so some congestion, but I think context here, we are looking for a new low of this channel. I think context-wise, it would be a possible trade to consider, and then it gets a bit too late. So overall, happy with my 2 trades. I just need to watch out for congestion and sideways price action, and try and focus on those A+ setups. And I did say in another video, I mean, I'm going for 4 ticks right now in the scalp like Mac because I want to try and focus on just good setups. Not worrying about tick targets, profitability, just concentrate on 2 good setups a day. But looking at, and it's another problem, is that I need to start looking very carefully at the risk I'm taking on each trade. Because I just looked at this and thought, is a high or low? I'm going to take it. And then I looked back when I was journaling, and it was 7.5 points of risk. And I looked at it, and I was like, can't be risking 7.5 points for 1 point of profit. That's no. I know Max says that risk reward is for losers with losing strategies, and but no. For me at this stage, I can't be doing something like that. So I think on high ATR day, I think the ATR at this point was about 5 points. So either size down or go for at least 3 points in that situation. But yeah, I'm trying to focus on just the setups for now. But in the future, definitely something to think about as a risk reward. And trying to have a flexible strategy, one that reflects the ATR and the risk, but one also that fits my emotions. Because I know if I go for it's happened in the previous videos where went for 12 ticks and it's went 9 ticks and reversed to stop me out, and that F's me up as well emotionally. So for now, just trying to focus on those good setups, have a good win rate. I think with PATS, that's the most important thing, is the high win rate. Really try and focus on these months to have a high win rate, and then I can look through my journal, compare the different tick targets with the different levels of ATR, and see where the most profitable tick target is for myself. I think it is 8 ticks overall. But I want to really journal well for the next 3 months at least, March, April, May, and see where we are going into the summer. And then I can adjust to the optimum tick target. So thanks again for checking out the video, and hope you all had a good trading day as well, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.